When we set up the agency, it was 15 years ago now. We left Saatchi & Saatchi, set up M&C Saatchi, and we were international from birth. We had offices in New York, London, Singapore, Hong Kong, Sydney, on the back of Qantas and British Airways. And then, we grew offices and the network grew over the next 12 years or so, but at a relatively slow pace. And so when I took over the role, I was keen to complete the network. And I thought to complete the network, we needed to be in South America. We're now in Sao Paulo. We needed a presence in Africa. We're in Johannesburg and Cape Town. We needed to be in India. We needed to have greater presence in China. We needed to be in Tokyo. And we needed to complete the picture in Europe. We weren't in Italy. There are a couple of other pieces of the jigsaw missing, but I think within the first half of this year, we will be everywhere we need to be. I think we'll be everywhere that a modern network needs to be. I think that the network of today doesn't need 150 offices. There may be one or two clients that do. 99% of clients don't need 150 offices. They don't want to pay for the overhead. They don't want to go through the bureaucracy that entails. I think that 25 is a good number, between 20 and 30, one might say. And that's not to say we won't open any more offices. If a client is desperate for us to be somewhere, we will be. But I reckon by halfway through the year, that's it. I can't see that we need more than 25, 26. A lot of agencies talk about, and I can talk about, in fact I just have talked about structural differences that we have. And we do have a structural difference. We're in different places. Our history is different. But I don't think those are the most important things. I think that they are relatively irrelevant compared to a culture and a belief system within an agency. And we have two. I think if you cut us open, and if you read PR about us, it's very clear what we stand for. It wasn't 40 years ago. Certainly 40 years ago, Saatchi & Saatchi started. And I was at Saatchi & Saatchi. I was in the room when we came up with "Nothing is impossible" as our mantra. And I believe, others may disagree, I believe that when we left, so we didn't really leave Saatchi & Saatchi left us. The culture was different. And we took that "Nothing is impossible" spirit to M&C Saatchi. So I think that mantra, the belief that an individual, through a sheer act of will, can make what is seemingly impossible possible, what others believe can't happen, I think that's the most important thing, actually, is that. And then the brutal simplicity of thought, which is, again, our belief that in order to be successful and for clients to be successful, especially in today's climate, we call it almost a modern form of good manners. You need to be succinct and to the point, which requires an intellectual sort of threshing machine which sorts the wheat from the chaff. And that's what we deliver on behalf of our clients, is that, I think, intellectual rigour and that simplicity which is required to cut through and be successful in today's media environment. So it's nothing to do with gimmicks, it's nothing to do with structure. I think it's culture and that specific belief, and that's what we can deliver globally. I think all our offices are different, if one's honest. All offices are different. But I think if you go in, from the receptionist, the person who makes the coffee, through to the account execs and the creative people, they understand those two mantras and they'll be able to actually talk about them. When we started up the agency, we were very clear. If we find the right people, we'll be successful, the best people. And if we find average people, we'll be average. And if we find poor people, we'll fail. So from the very start, we just saw a lot of people. And so I think you need to both see it and you need to encourage it. I think one of the Saatchi philosophies, and less a philosophy, more what's in our blood, is a desire to be talked about. I think we like to be talked about as an agency. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that from a client perspective. Someone once said, if you can't advertise yourself, you have no right to advertise your client's products. And I think we're pretty good at advertising ourselves. And so we work, and I think in Asia we need to work harder on our profile. I think that the network in Asia isn't quite complete. I think we have a little bit more work to do in China. I think there are one or two, certainly one other market that we need to be in within the region. And then we just need to work at strengthening some of our offers and upping our profile and being more talked about. I think that's how you attract the best talent. And also having a culture which attracts young people. I think young people today, I think they quite like being part of a network on the one hand, because they like to have the potential to move around the world. They are more international in their outlook. On the other hand, they don't want to be a jelly mould whereby you have to fill in your forms, you have to behave in a certain way, you have to conform. I think that they like to have freedom and a touch of entrepreneurial outlook in life, and I like to. That's what we strive to offer.